Alright, let's dive into something that's been weighing heavily on my mind lately. Imagine this, a quiet school day in Thailand, kids going about their morning routines, and then, chaos. A 14-year-old student opens fire, leaving 9 dead, including himself. It's a tragedy that's hard to wrap your head around, right? But what makes this really interesting is the layers beneath the surface. This isn't just another headline, it's a story that forces us to ask some uncomfortable questions about society, mental health, and gun control. First, let's talk about the shooter. A 14-year-old. Personally, I think this is where the story gets truly chilling. We're not talking about an adult with a long history of violence, we're talking about a kid. A kid who, according to reports, had shown signs of stress related to school. What many people don't realize is how easily these signs can be overlooked. From my perspective, this raises a deeper question: how well are we equipped to recognize and address mental health issues in young people? It's not just about the tragedy itself, it's about the systemic failures that might have led to it. Now, let's talk about the gun. The weapon was legally registered to the boy's grandfather. This detail I find fascinating because it highlights a broader issue in Thailand: gun ownership. Thailand has one of the highest rates of gun ownership in Asia, with an estimated 10.3 million firearms in civilian hands. If you take a step back and think about it, that's 15 guns per 100 residents. What this really suggests is that access to firearms is far too easy, even for someone as young as 14. And it's not an isolated incident. We've seen mass shootings in Thailand before, like the 2022 attack in Nong Bua Lamphu province where a former police officer killed dozens, including children. Here's where it gets even more complicated. Prime Minister Anyutin Charnvirakul has pledged to introduce stricter gun control laws, limiting firearms to government officials on duty. Personally, I think this is a step in the right direction, but it's also a reactive measure. What this really suggests is that the government is playing catch-up. If you ask me, the focus should also be on prevention, better mental health support, stricter background checks, and a cultural shift in how we view gun ownership. But let's not forget the human side of this story. Families are grieving. A 12-year-old girl died in the hospital, raising the death toll to 9. 8 bodies were collected from the Institute of Forensic Medicine, including the shooter and his grandparents. What makes this really interesting is how the community is responding. Parents are bringing their kids to pay respects, even if they're not directly connected to the school. One father mentioned his son is still in shock and can't sleep alone. This isn't just a statistic, it's a ripple effect that touches everyone. If you take a step back and think about it, this tragedy is a mirror to society. It's about how we fail our young people, how we normalize gun culture, and how we react only after it's too late. In my opinion, this isn't just Thailand's problem, it's a global issue. We see similar patterns in the US, in Europe, everywhere. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Closing thought, this story isn't just about a shooting, it's about the cracks in our systems that allow such tragedies to happen. It's about the kids who feel unseen, the guns that are too accessible, and the reactions that come too late. Personally, I think we need to start asking harder questions and demanding better answers. Because if we don't, this won't be the last time we hear a story like this. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.